As a manager, do you know how to have a mental health conversation? That's exactly what we're going to cover in this video as we show you how to get the conversation started, what you should be doing and saying, and how to provide the best support possible. So, let's get into it. So before we even start the mental health conversation, it's so important that we first think. So thinking about the setting. Where exactly is going to be the best place? Is it going to be a quiet environment, a busy environment, a private room? Where is that individual going to feel most comfortable? Also, when? Is it going to be in the morning? Is it going to be in the lunch break? Is it going to be just after work? When is that individual going to feel most comfortable? And also think about what exactly are you going to say? Why are you saying it? And what support options and how can you support that individual in the best way possible? So that is the first step, is to think. To help open up the mental health conversation, always ask twice. So if I say, hey, how are you? What's the usual response to that? It's usually, I'm fine, how are you? And sometimes we know they're not fine. And this is where asking twice comes into play, because it can beat that auto response, it can beat the expected response, and it can let that individual feel like they've got permission to actually tell you what's going on. So for example, if they say, I'm fine, how are you? We can just give that second prompt, are you sure everything's okay? Or if we've noticed something specific and it fits within the conversation, we can say, we haven't seen you in any of the group activities or at lunch lately. Are you sure everything's okay? Well, you know what, I've actually been struggling lately and I'm not really sure what to do. Well, do you want to have a chat about it? And then that opens up the conversation. Now, a question I always get asked is, would you ask a third time? Personally, I wouldn't. Because you ask twice and they say I'm fine and then I'm fine again. Asking a third, fourth, fifth time or more can actually push them further and further away. So instead, I say, well, I'm here if you want to chat, and then I'll check in with them via text or email every so often. So just so they know that I'm there for them, and once they are ready, they can come and have a chat with me. So to open up the conversation, always ask twice. Once they start talking, it's so important for us to fully listen. And by fully listening, I mean turning this off, turning these on, and listening to exactly what they're saying, what they need, and what they're prepared to do. And we want to do this without any interruption. So any thoughts that we have, we'll let them go. We don't want to just jump in and fill that conversation. We want to let them finish without any interruption, and also allow moments of silence, because it's in silence that we can get the best stuff out of them, as it gives them time to reflect and actually tell you more. And when we're listening, we don't want to appear startled or shocked at anything they're saying, because sometimes they can say shocking and startling stuff. We want to remain calm, relaxed, non-biased, and impartial, so it gains more trust from them to actually trust us with their issues to be able to support them in the best way possible. And throughout the conversation, when we are listening, always check for risks of suicide, harm, or anything else. And we're listening out for things like them talking about being a burden, being the lowest point they've ever been at. Maybe they've actively said they're harming themselves in any way. Maybe they said thoughts of dying, and we're looking out for thoughts of having no purpose, and anything along those lines. Now, I'll have another video that shows what to do if that conversation does go down that route and you identify that they are at risk of either suicide or self-harm. So that'll come in another video. So always make sure throughout the conversation that we're fully listening. To help guide the mental health conversation, we want to ask lots of open-ended questions. So instead of saying, are you looking after yourself, which is yes or no, we can ask, how are you looking after yourself? Same question, but will give us more information. And the questions I like to use are here. And the questions you ask can be completely different as long as it's relevant to the actual situation. Now, you can ask closed questions as well, as long as they're relevant too. So open-ended questions and relevant questions in general will help to guide the conversation. So ask relevant questions. Throughout the conversation, it's so important to reassure the individual. Because do you think it's easy for somebody to disclose their mental health issues and vulnerabilities with you? Of course not. It's a difficult thing to do, so we want to reassure them that they've done the right thing by coming to you, reassure them that you're going to support them as best as you can, and also reassure them that what they say is going to remain confidential unless it puts them at serious risk or someone else. So always reassure the individual. In the conversation, we want to encourage support, and that could be self-help or professional services they could use. Now, it's important to note that we shouldn't ever be prescriptive in what we're saying, and instead have a conversation trying to enable them to make their own decisions, to make decisions that are going to be realistic and achievable for them, and we're simply guiding that. So if they're eating a lot of crap, we can guide the conversation to how they can eat a bit healthier. If they're not exercising, we can work on ways that they could exercise, and so on. And with professional services, we could ask a question like, based on your situation, there are a lot of services that you could access. Is that something you'd be willing to explore? And if they say yes, then we can give them the name, the email, the website, the number, so they can access it in their own time, or you could do it together if that's something that they want to do. So encourage support to help them help themselves and use other services when they need to. Mental health conversations can take their toll on you, and this is why it's important to protect yourself as best as you can. And there are ways of doing that. So first thing is setting up boundaries. So boundaries that are going to be healthy for yourself and reduce dependency for whoever you're supporting. So how much time you can give, what you're prepared to give, also where does your scope of practice end, and so on. Also, making sure that you're investing in yourself as best as possible. So doing the things that you're going to be recommending. So making sure that you're connecting, making sure that you're eating healthy, making sure that you're sleeping okay, making sure that you are exercising, making sure that you're taking time out for self-care. And also when you need to ask for help, whether it's other management or professional services. So make sure that you look after yourself as best as you can, as that will put you in a better position to have more supportive mental health conversations. So those are my steps on how to have a mental health conversation. I do hope it's been useful for you. And if it has, please like, comment and share, as it'll help other managers. And if you're looking for any training, whether it's a mental health workshop or a mental health first aid course, then please contact me at matt@claritywalk.co.uk or visit our website www.claritywalk.co.uk/training. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.